Welcome everybody to MogTalk. Today is April 22nd, 2023. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And before we get started, I want you guys all to know who we have on the show. So let's go ahead and start with Brian and go kind of clockwise here. Brian, can you tell everybody who you are?
Sure. My name is Brian Ricardo. I've been streaming PvP focused content for like 4 to 5 years now. I do commentary now for Crystalline Conflict, and I was one of the people who created the Revival PvP Discord.
Nice, nice. Brian and I have a very long history. We've been in this community for so
Yes.
long.
I think it's 4 to 5 years, right? Or maybe even
way
more.
more than that, dude. It's way more than that.
I don't want
It
to age
has to
myself that
be
bad.
3.0. I'm pretty sure back at 3.0.
Yeah, I did play season in the piece.
Yeah. Anyways. Then Mass, would you tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Masaru XP. I've been streaming for a little over a year now, and I do PvP content every day. So like Monday through Friday, 12 to 6. I'm late every day, but PvP every day.
At least you show up.
I do show up.
Yeah.
99% of the time. So it's a pretty good turnout.
Nice. All right, John.
Hi everybody, I'm John. Same thing, PvP content. I host the Revival Roulette event every Thursday night. That's on Revival's Twitch channel. That's a lot of fun. Come down, sign up for a random team placement, get into custom matches. We even do meme matches where people can make crazy comps. We give out prizes every week. And then Friday night I stream on Twitch. It's right there on screen. John_is_dead. Same thing on Twitter. Posting memes, nonsense, mild misbehavior, things like that.
Out of curiosity, I gotta ask, why John is dead?
I'm an emo kid at heart, and one of my favorite discs was the DVD for My Chemical Romance's Black Parade is Dead, where they did their final live show as the Black Parade in Mexico City. And
Okay.
so I've just always thought that was really cool, really dramatic. So I kind of
All right. I appreciate you dealing with that level of embarrassment here on the show today.
I didn't know that, so that's good to know.
Yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Brian, how'd you get your name?
From my mom and my dad.
There we go. Anyways, guys, I wanted to bring these wonderful people on the show because PvP is in a pretty cool place, I think, right now, and I just want to go ahead and start talking about it and getting into it. I'm trying to dive a lot more into it again. If you guys are familiar with my content, I've always been diving into PvP here and there. It's again, like I was saying, Brian, we've been around forever. I even moderated a Discord that imploded at some point. And then I did commentary for a handful of different events. It's been a long road. And now we're in the new age of Crystalline Conflict. And so with this new mode and everything else, we have seen a lot of positive feedback from the community. But I am curious to hear your takes as being people who are very invested into it currently. Is Crystalline Conflict a good replacement for what we had a little over a year ago with Feast? Are we in a pretty good spot with this new mode?
I'll definitely start here. I do think the direction when Crystal Conflict started was good. Like almost everyone was playing it. It wasn't just like a PvP thing. Like a lot of streamers are playing it. I think the percentage of people who got Crystal rank was like way more than anyone who got like Diamond and Feast. So a lot of player base, a lot of content creators, like super positive. But as we progress further into the seasons, there's definitely less people playing, and there's a lot of reasons for that. It's part of it is like the rewards is not enough for people, I feel, and it's just getting a little repetitive doing the same seasons with no breaks because there's no preseasons in Crystal Conflict. But overall, good, but needs more. That's what I would say personally.
Yeah, I think it's a really good step I think it's a really good like tipping point to see if they do more. But if they don't, it's really not holding on to much. I don't know.
Okay.
Because CC was a great start. It just feels like for the past few seasons, it needs a little bit more love. It needs a little bit more going
Yeah.
into it.
Okay.
I also didn't play any of the Feast or Fold or anything. And I've been playing Final Fantasy since day 1.0.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't play
Longer than
anything
me.
till CC. So that should kind of say something about the game mode. It wasn't too accessible before. So whatever
Okay.
they did, I think it was necessary.
Okay, that's actually a really interesting perspective. You coming in as a Final Fantasy 14 player who finally got convinced to play PvP after a while because of Crystalline Conflict. All right, John, what are your thoughts?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Masaru. I didn't get into any ranked PvP until CC. I gave the Feast a couple tries, as well as the Fold way back in the day, and didn't really get into it. Didn't really have the greatest first experience with it. And once CC came out, I think that it changed things for a lot of people. It was way less tactically dense than the older modes of PvP. Way more accessible. It's been said already. Way more accessible. And then as the game got bigger and more people are streaming it, streamers are getting bigger and covering it. I think that it drew more people in. So it started off great. Again, just to agree with Brian and Masaru, I think we could use some revitalizing energy. And after a few seasons, Brian said that he hadn't seen so many people at top rank in Feast as he did in CC. And I'd like to see more people getting up into Crystal. I'd like to see more people coming out and really trying to do their best and stuff like that.
Well,
So,
I mean, to let you guys know, I was perfectly content with the amount of people playing before because I was in top 100 a few times in Feast, and so I was okay with it for a little bit, but I completely get it. I completely get it. Those were some pretty interesting days, and so like back then they were giving a mount pretty much every single season, right? A mount or like a glamour, right? In some way, and I feel pretty proud of a mount that only 600 people in the entire game have.
Defo, yeah.
Yeah.
You really should feel proud of it.
Yeah. And so I do think it would be interesting to see if they start doing that kind of stuff more right now. But like you guys were saying, the rewards just don't seem to be completely there, right? Unless, so you go through your first life cycle of it, you get all your rewards, and then you're like, why do it again? Is that kind of the issue right now?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, because what you're going to get as far as a mount or glam, you're going to get from doing any type of PvP pretty much passively, regularly. You can get it, during its lifetime just from doing your daily challenge in Frontlines.
Yeah, the series.
And to that extent, honestly, the rewards right now I feel like are a reason to queue up, but they're not a reason to like enjoy the game mode. So it's kind of weird. I feel like a lot of people are queuing up, they just don't care beyond that, which is fine, but I do think that is pretty common.
Yeah, and it's not an incentive for ranked play.
Got it.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's an incentive for ranked play. The only incentives for ranked plays are funny picture frame,
which is harder to get than it was the first season, right?
It is. It's harder. It's harder because now you can be demoted.
Yeah,
and you have to find the queue.
I haven't. Yeah,
the queues are getting bad. Very bad.
Well, the queues might be bad for you guys. On Crystal, it's still going every night.
It's gonna get bad.
I'm lucky.
I went from 1 character to 3 in a matter of a week. I had to. I literally had to. I could not compete in the queues. Like, there's not enough.
Yeah, if you want to stream, like, you have to make alts so you can play like different times and play in general some days. Honestly,
unless you're on Crystal.
Right. It's gonna get bad on Crystal, yo.
I know it's gonna get bad. I know it got bad before. Every season has had its downtime. Yeah. Even Crystal can't withstand the atrophy.
Is Crystal like the popping PvP server right now?
Maybe like right now, but
right now I
don't know. I think anything could change.
Yeah, it shifts a lot. Like last season, Primal was like the best NA.
Yeah, last season Primal stayed pretty busy.
Mhm.
Huh. Huh.
Ships.
Oh, so what about? I know Brian, you play on EU a little bit. Do you have
Yeah.
any kind of insight on how does a lot of the player base in EU kind of feel similar ways, or are the queues pretty much the same over there?
So right now, Chaos is completely dead and Light is still popping.
Okay.
And a lot of people from Chaos are making alts to play on Light. But very, very similar. Like things are slowing down. And from what I hear from people, part of it is rewards and part of it is just like the repetitive nature.
Mm-hmm.
6 seasons with no breaks, you know?
No, I got it. That does suck. Because I mean, I
Yeah,
remember.
they used to do preseason, right? During the
Yeah.
feast. They used to do preseason where people could kind of take a breather and but
Yeah.
they also had Team Q after like season 5 though, so
Did the team queues were like one season, I think, right?
Yeah, it was
Team.
one season. Like
Yeah.
season 18-ish.
Yeah.
Like 1 through 4 and then like 18.
Yeah. It was just unfortunate because they
oh
didn't
yeah,
have
that's
a.
what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't have really a good solution for just how to get actual, a lower kind of population to grow from that kind of stuff, right? And so, like, if you only have like a handful of teams to start out with, they never queued and then the ball never starts rolling. And it's really hard to get that many people queued up at the same time to be facing off against other people, right?
Right.
So there has to be a solution for it. I think back in the day, we were theorizing different ways to do that, like doing team, rank windows, like, only at this time
yeah.
of day can you get like points for ranking up and everything else. And that would inspire people to kind of queue up at those certain times, and then you have people facing other teams, and it's not just one versus the same team the entire time. So, but we'll see. We'll see how that kind of grows. I do notice on the community side, there seems to be a lot of, at least more light party activity than there was back in Feast.
Definitely.
Can you guys talk a little bit about that? Like, why do we think there is like a decent amount of communities trying to build some sort of light party in the background compared to how it was before?
Mm-hmm.
Brian, maybe you could start if that's since you have the yeah.
I'm trying to think. It honestly just might be that people just want to play with friends. I think it's simply that, like, they don't want to have the solo queue experience only, so they want light parties. I know a lot of people want like a light party queue as well. I don't know if it would work out per se, but I would definitely love to see one, just like a casual light party queue.
I would like to see that as well.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Kind of what we were saying, like this is, this being an MMO, it'd be nice to see things, maintain that kind of feeling. And, why are we all here? Why are we doing anything in this game? Well, we want to play with our friends. And the fact that there's no real way to play CC with your friends unless you're able to get 10 of them online at the same time to do a custom match. It seems kind of just missing.
Would it be like a horrible kind of situation where they do some sort of like algorithm? Let's just say casual queue is just literally free for all. People can queue together, cannot queue together, whatever. But if you are queued up with more people, it'll try to find other people who are queued in groups, and after 5 minutes or so, it says screw it, we'll put you with just whoever.
That's what other games do. That's what
that's literally what other games do. If you're if you're an organized party going in, other games they'll try and matchmake you against another group, and if not, it's going to be a stomp, but at least you get to play.
Yeah,
I'm for that personally. I think
for casuals, definitely.
Because casual doesn't matter. No, everyone's just in there to click buttons, right?
Right. And I think there's enough of player base. I think because casual pops like almost all day on most data centers. It's rank that's just like the struggle bus right now.
Got it.
Yeah, casual games you can get at 3 o'clock in the morning. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can get them almost 24/7. I think people get tired and kind of nod off for a few hours, but you almost 24/7 you can get casuals.
And that's all region, like EU as well.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
Wow. GP. All right, so there's a home for me somewhere. A casual player.
There absolutely
it's so funny, right? It's so different than Feast, because like Feast we could never get queue ever. it was only ranked, and now here it's casual. It's like
Because the rewards are
place.
kind of flopped, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I also think there's a certain amount of anxiety with PvP,
Sure.
and you're not going to want to go into a ranked by yourself and get nice job, nice tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think a lot of people end up going in the casual, and they never want to touch ranked.
And that's fair too, right?
Sure.
Because back at Feast, you like blame one person. You'd be like, well, it's this person's fault, kind of, right? And then nice job spam. If you get the wrong person in there, you get nice job spammed, all that great stuff. But like, this is just such a if for some reason adding one more player to each team, it feels like just a mash of nonsense, especially if you're going in by yourself and just like trying to figure out. You're hoping some of these. I mean, it gets better, I'm sure, higher in ranks, right? People have
Sure,
general
yeah, definitely.
strategies and things. They're like, this is what we expect to kind of happen. I'm assuming. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but higher levels, there's like you
Gets
play off
cleaner.
common strategies that other, like if they're playing this job, this is kind of a strategy that you would expect them to execute, and wait back a little bit, not just run forward and jump in.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely
So.
gets a little bit better. It's still pretty chaotic. It's just by nature.
Honestly,
Like,
sometimes
It's
it
still
feels like
chaotic.
chess, and other times it feels like chess where you have 4 other teammates and you can't communicate. So
Uh,
like it kind of makes sense, but then out of nowhere you're like, I don't know. You're just looking for opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Are you kind of responding to your own team and what they're doing position-wise, or are you just doing your own thing kind of when you're in there?
I'm usually looking to see for me, it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors thing. So I'm looking at the guards and purifies, who's dropping them first. If it's
Mhm.
my team, I'm not going to dive super deep because they're not going to be able to help me. So it's a lot of kind of reacting, to be honest.
Okay, so you're watching debuffs like a lot of the time.
oh yes,
Like, the entire
I
time
kinda
you're
look
just
at it as
looking
rock,
at the
paper,
debuffs.
scissors. So like
Trying
you got your
to.
purified
Trying
guard,
to.
and then all of your attacks. I don't know.
yeah. Harder core you want to be with it, like you definitely have to, like, to
You
get more kills.
Mhm.
even like I think if you want to really have any chance of being successful consistently, you have to adapt to what your team's going to do. They don't really
Mhm.
give you tools to synergize with your team. Like they let you quick chat a couple things, but
You'll never know.
so like
It's kind of a free for all.
I'm playing Scholar this season, and one thing I try to do is when my limit break is ready, I hit the everyone group up and the hotkey saying limit
Mhm.
break ready, and I'll do that a
Mhm.
couple times, and people will go every which direction. So you kind of got to figure out which way you're gonna get most
100%.
of them with the XCOG.
Yeah.
Try and get that out there. So you kind of have to adapt to what your team's doing. And
Mhm.
it's not even that they're intentionally going Pepega, but people get tunneled. People, they think that they have their own tactical priorities in the match, and so you have to
Yeah.
adapt to try and influence the win condition as best you can. Really.
Yeah, I think everyone's
Mhm.
spotting their own win conditions, and I think something that
Mhm.
will help kind of bring that all together are things like these tournaments because people need to see it
Yeah.
play out. Like I
Mhm.
remember growing up with League of Legends, I loved the game, but I took it a lot more seriously after watching Bjergsen because, well, I wanted to make that play, and then I started actually understanding it. So I think having more tournaments and things like that really will help develop a meta because it's really not. Some people might say, "Oh, like go for the black mage," but the next game somebody's going to say no. So, you know what I mean? It really does depend.
That
Yeah,
is
I
actually
think so too. Yeah.
pretty interesting because I never really got super competitive. The only game that I even like attempted to be, I mean, besides Feast, where I was like, I gotta get that mount right, and the one time I got like top 50, I was like, I'm really good at this game, but I wasn't. But the StarCraft 2, I got really into it because I was watching the online events and the tournaments that they were doing over in Korea. And what was it, Tasteless and Artosis? Those were the guys that were doing a lot of stuff for that. And then Day 9 would do his videos, and like I just got absorbed in it. And this was all just because of the content creator stuff going out there. And there was actually a big company doing events, so kind of watching that a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, having some level of events going on where you can actually see people playing competitively and people talking about it and discussing the
Mhm.
strategy can help evolve that meta, and players will start going into matches trying to do those things and emulate some of that stuff, and then it kind of just moves around as needed. But yeah, I that's why I was thinking, yeah, with more community events, then you have more activity, more people getting really invested into a Crystalline Conflict, and then it just grows the community naturally. Just we need eyes on it.
Yeah.
You know, and not to plug myself too hard here, but the Crystalline Conflict Roulette event is that's one of the goals that we do with that, is getting people into light party scenarios. You know, we have voice chat set up for people to use if they choose. Not every match people, you know, hop in. Sometimes it's just a couple people that want to coordinate, but every now and then, you know, we'll get people that everybody piles into the voice chat for their team. And but that's been our goal with it, is to get people into that light party scenario where they realize, like, oh, this is very different from ranked or casual. This is a whole different ball game, you know. And we've seen some pretty funny stuff. I mean, you know, when we had the team of all white mages coordinate their limit breaks into a giant Kamehameha down the aisle in Clockwork Castle Town, I mean, they coordinated that in the voice chat and had a good time with it. You know,
that is really interesting that you say that, because that was one of the big question marks going into Crystalline Conflict, was the non-restricted roles and how that would play out. How is that currently playing out in the meta right now? Does it still feel sort of structured, like maybe 3 DPS, 2 healers, or a tank and DPS and 3? Like how what do teams look like in structured light party right now?
Oh, in light party?
I think it's a lot of people just trying to counter other people, so they're kind of more thinking of like a 1-to-1 matchup. Like you see one person switch to warrior, and maybe, you know what I mean? Like I don't think there's really a whole lot of like future sight going into it beyond I want to stop that one guy.
We've seen some people talk about certain comps where they want to guard break. So they'll definitely have a warrior or a dancer or a reaper in there. They'll have at least one, because it's so big to be able to, especially if you've got somebody like a dragoon in your party, to break those guards, because as soon as that dragoon goes up in the air, people scatter or they pop their guards. And so in order to have somebody else to counter that, that's always big. You almost always see, something like that. But
there's some jobs that are doing really well for light party that I noticed. Like people like to bring the paladin still for the
of course,
for the covers, because that's really easy to coordinate in light party. Just be like, I'm gonna cover you and use your elixir, blah blah blah. That's really strong. Bard is doing well right now because like the silence is like 3 seconds long and you can get LBs faster. Dark Knight is pretty good too.
Yeah. I wanna take a second to bring something from chat here. Why the fuck did you guys all wear suits and like dress shirts and stuff? And like I'm just sitting here in my t-shirt, just like, all right, here we go, doing a show. You guys come up all looking nice and make me look like some sort of unprepared asshole.
I was making jokes. I was making jokes with people about coming into the MogTalk mansion and leaving the bathroom door or the bathroom window cracked so people could sneak back in later and stuff like that. And then I started making jokes about wearing a suit, and Brian was like, "Oh, you can't go in dripping that hard." I was like, all right. So we kind of went through some ideas and
all right,
we decided that we wanted to make a good impression.
Jackass.
Did it work?
I think in your case it did. I'm impressed.
I'm impressed with you.
Very, very impressed. Very impressed. You know, I now feel like I'm just a little bit underdressed, but I'm okay. I'll deal with it. I have my amazing.
You're just not showing your dress pants below. It's fine.
I got my Corsair headset. That's all I need, and I look good.
Nice.
So, by the way, Corsair is sponsoring an event, guys. If you guys are unaware of that, we have an official PvP event being sponsored, which is happening in just a handful of weeks. The preliminaries will start soon too, but we need more people to sign up. If you guys haven't signed up, please, I'll put it in the description of the video. It's on my Twitter. I might get a link here before the end of the show where you can go sign up and everything. Just find 5 people that are like, hey, I just want to go into a tournament, and then you can win. We're up to like 300 million gil in the pot right now to give away. Yeah. And we still have 3 weeks to gain more gil, so who knows? Maybe we'll get up to 1 billion gil.
A billion.
Yeah. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll make it an incentive too, is that everyone that's in the tournament, like the 8 teams overall, every member will get a million gil no matter what. We can maybe even do that too. All right.
Wow.
So, I'd recommend signing up and getting in there, and then you could have a chance to get an amazing headset, keyboard, and mouse given away by Corsair. I mean, they're putting a decent amount of product, like $1,600 worth of product in there.
Yeah,
Nice.
We're gonna be giving away stuff on stream, so I'm plugging that right now. Go sign up.
And there's artwork prize too.
Yeah,
You can
artwork. I
draw your
forgot. There's
character.
artwork prizes too.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh, is
crap!
there?
I need to push that
For the
out
winning
too.
team.
Brian,
Yeah.
tell them about the artwork.
Yeah, tell us about the artwork.
Well, my friend does like retro style, and she'll draw your character if you're the winning team.
There you go. Is she
6
drawing
people.
all 6, 7 characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first place is going to get pretty good, pretty good setup. But just by being in the tournament, you'll get gil, and also, of course, by getting second or third, you'll also get a decent chunk of gil out of that too. I mean, it's really there's a lot of communities. Reddit's helping out with it too. The Final Fantasy 14 Reddit.
Oh heck yeah!
So there is a lot of people involved currently. So please sign up, even if you don't feel like you're going to win. At least you can get in there and actually start feeling what Light Party looks like. Because that, again, we're
Light
aching
parties are
for
a
it.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah,
actually
and
a lot
I'd
of
just
fun.
like to say something. If you look at some of the people when they flaunt their, if you look at some of the people you might be intimidated or facing. If you look on their Twitter handles or their social media, they'll say what they placed in at events, and you'll see people go from participant to 4th place to 1st place, and now they're a superstar. So don't be afraid of getting out there and trying.
You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
I put the sign up link right there in chat. I need to add that art line in there because I blanked on that, but I'll put that in there too. And I'll get all the links for that, Brian, after the show.
Sure.
But yeah, no, this is a lot of communities are back in it as well. Paws and Claws, helping out too with gil and everything, and so this is going to be a pretty cool event. So there's a link in chat. I'll put it in the video description, and then we'll push it more. The plan is to end signups next week, but we'll see how things go. Anyways, that was community portion of it. And we were talking about Paws and Claws as being part of the community too. I mean, there's a lot of different communities out there right now supporting Crystalline Conflict in general. And there are events out there where they are doing gil prizes. And there's even dueling events. There's all kinds of things going on.
Mhm.
Can you guys give us a little bit of insight about what that looks like right now? What kind of communities are out there? What kind of events are happening besides this event in particular?
So there's a when it comes to like customs and scrimming, that's like the biggest thing I see these days. There's like 4, like just for NA, there's like 4 different scrim discords. There's Argo, and there's Paws and Claws, and then we do the revival one, like John is talking about. And like, so there's just a big interest for Light Party is what I noticed.
Yeah, don't forget CC Madness as well.
Yeah.
CC Madness,
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's just that you do these scrims, but like there's not enough tournaments to like keep up with it right now. But so we're getting more and more. So
Yeah.
Honestly, with all the people who are doing this, I wish things were a little bit smoother with doing custom games, because there's a lot of things to be desired in the system.
Okay. Talk about it.
Yeah, go on.
Well, the fact that it's just, it feels like they never touched it, because you can't join a party, finish the game, and like reset the teams. You have to leave the whole thing, come back. It's the whole process is not friendly. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Actually getting into custom games is kind of weird. Like, it took me like, I don't know, 5 minutes to kind of figure it out. I imagine somebody who's trying to do it with their friends probably is going to give up.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of weird to get it's kind of weird to get it going and get people in the right spot and get people to even find it. Yeah.
And you can't queue in undersized. So if you want to do like a 4v4 with your friends, you can't.
Nope.
So it's very limiting on what you can do.
Okay. So that's actually interesting to know. I knew about. I'm pretty sure I knew about the you had to have 5 get in there. That's kind of commonplace outside of the one undersized party finder option they have up there. They should probably put that in there for PvP as well. I mean, PvP has a spectator mode still. I'm really glad they still have that because I was so worried they were going to
Yeah,
just
oh my god, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, no, we need it.
I'm glad that they have it, but they could use it. They could definitely use it more. Like let people spectate more than just the custom matches. Maybe I don't know how they would implement that.
Oh,
But
I would
know
love
that
to spectate
I know
randoms.
that
You give me
I,
no names, just say Dragoon above them, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
you know, like there's so many different ways that other games have implemented things like that, or like a big one is Guild Wars 2 with their auto tournaments, and you know you can go and spectate tournaments and stuff like that. I think that that's really awesome. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
I think really what our community needs and what our PvP mode needs is I think it just needs a little bit more care and attention from the corporate side of things. To be
I agree.
quite frank.
Yeah.
Or give us better tools to do our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I think better
Custom front
tools for our
lines.
own stuff. Custom front lines. Oh,
No, but really,
yes.
that'd be
Oh
fun.
my
I don't
Yes,
know. Like,
yeah,
I want
that's what
more
I'm talking about.
options and more.
See, if we had that, we could live my dream of having like server versus server clashes.
I mean, you could sorta right now, but I don't know. Like, Frontlines is such a funny situation to me because I've never like sat down and taken Frontlines like super seriously. But there are some really serious people out there who do
Oh my
Frontlines.
god.
There's some people that go ham in front
Yeah.
lines. That's true.
Yeah.
Right now, though, I don't think there's many people like that right now because Frontlines is such in a bad state. Like everything is so
Yeah,
bulky.
The
Things
Dark
is
Knight
like
meta,
Dark Knight meta.
yeah, Dark Knight meta.
coming off of the Paladin meta.
Yeah, tell me about the Dark Knight meta.
Coming off the Paladin cheese, the cover cheese for
Oh,
Onsel. Yeah, that was
yeah.
rough. The
Yeah.
dark days, brothers.
But
So, what's happening with Dark Knight? Sorry, I missed that part.
yeah, so basically Dark Knight is just really, really bulky. They have like the 40% mitigation on them on
Mhm.
top of their normal stuff like TBN, Exalted Earth. So they're really, really hard to die, and they have Living Dead, and they do good damage, and they like pull people in, and there's no immunity for or resistance for knockbacks and pull-ins. So you just like pull
Oh,
people in consistently, and you link it with like the Dragoon LB, and that's how people mostly kill right now. Which is
okay.
like very frustrating.
Is it like when you pull in? Is it like a group pull in? Sorry, my
Yeah,
ignorance is showing. Okay, yeah, just to make sure. Yeah.
AoE,
Um,
Salted Earth.
so group pull in, Dragoon smash.
Yeah.
The combo.
Yeah, pretty much. And then if you survive that one, then the next Dragoon Dark Knight on Bat comes up and they do the exact same thing, so you get pulled in again and Sky Shattered a second time.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if a lot of people are kind of smart with it, they'll click target of target on their Dark Knight, so they'll just hit the person that they're jumping on. And I'll do that a lot with like Samurai L being in front lines. As soon as the Dark Knight jumps in and there's Dragoon in the air, I just also dive in. No cheat in. So it can get kind of absurd because Dark Knight has that pull in.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, everything is just so bulky though. Like every tank in melee has like 40% mitigation. You don't really kill without LBs. So personally, to me, it's not super fun to do frontlines right now. And they're doing big adjustments. I don't know if you saw the patch notes. Like they're removing one of the modes.
I know. They're taking Borderland Ruins from us.
Mm. I do, I've always been of the opinion that there is a lot of like old systems and maps and stuff, and maybe they just need to make new maps for front lines and just kind of like let these retire, go out, and make things that fit the new stuff. And it's okay.
True.
It's okay to move forward. I mean, we don't have our feast map anymore. It's gone. We can get rid of maps. All right. We don't have to get rid of, Cloud9. We need to keep that in.
No, that one can go.
I actually don't mind Cloud9.
I love it.
Cloud9's not so bad. It feels bad to lose on, don't get me wrong, but
Yes.
yeah.
But there's definitely more play there than I feel like in Clockwork. Clockwork, I don't know. Sometimes you're just looking around, you're like, I don't see anybody on my team. I don't see a single blue health bar. I don't see anything friendly.
Right.
And you're just spinning. You're just spinning looking.
is
I-
rough.
I kind of want to
It has
talk
the same
about.
feeling too. Like you just
Go
you
ahead.
feel like you feel horrible for losing in a clock tower.
Yeah,
Same feeling.
it looks
Even
so
the wins don't feel
crazy.
that great, if I'm being honest, on Clock Tower.
Really?
Sometimes they do. If you got like, I don't know, a big play under like the parade or whatever. But other than that, I don't know. Sometimes you feel like their team just was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, there's so many times where I end up wise manning the crystal, and I just can't see anybody on either team.
So, I remember when they announced this, it looked so cool and amazing, but it just didn't really work out as well as a solid map for Crystalline Conflict. Is that what we're all saying?
I think there's a lot going on that map.
Okay.
There's just a lot.
Okay.
I have a little different opinion. Like I love it. It's just that like the player base can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're so looking
it
at
took a,
especially.
and I'm guilty of it too. I was accidentally griefing Brian's games on his stream the other night.
I was like, why isn't John in right now?
Like, where did I go? Because I took the wrong door.
You took the wrong door. And I'm
I
like,
took the wrong door. Ended up in an ambush.
Oh.
I could hear him. I could hear him over stream because I just kind of had him on in my headphones, and he's like, "John, what are
Feels
you
bad.
doing?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just stopped killing." So he goes back to Aether, dude. This is embarrassing.
Ryan, that reminds me of when we were doing the commentary for the Square Enix event. You remember when Sir jumped over in the class? He just got smashed. He was just stuck.
Yeah. Apparently his team, like, it was like a miscommunication or something, right? But that was a good moment.
Those kind of moments are so much fun, and I'm sure we'd have those kind of moments in watching the Clock Tower as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to just seeing a lot more competitive Light Party. Because that was fun, man. And I feel like it's just never really ramped up. It's still just stagnant on the casual environment, which is good because people are playing, but they're not evolving into the competitive side of it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's the sad part of it. I think a lot of people have that desire. There's just not an easy gateway into it. But we'll see. Do you guys think they're going to just keep coming out with new maps, like one map every a couple of patches or something like that, or they're probably just going to stick to the handful of maps they got?
Not sure.
No,
I don't know.
I can see it going either way, to be honest.
Yeah, we were surprised by Clockwork.
Yeah,
I don't think
especially.
we were surprised. We didn't know that was coming.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for sure, this is way more maps than we've ever had in Feast. So like, it's just great. we now have, you know what? I think we have as many maps technically as we had with Feast overall as an entire life cycle, because we had the Lichen Weed, we had the boats, right? The feasty grounds, the training grounds, and then we had the Crystal Tower one, but we had like two versions of Crystal Tower with the circle.
And then there was one that the walls are like RNG in the middle.
Right.
And they got rid of that as well.
That's still one map. It's just like a function of that map, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say the expanded versions and the 8v8.
Oh yeah, like the water would block the certain passages.
Yeah, but they're creating some fairly creative maps, I guess, in comparison to what we were used to before. Are you guys thinking that's good to have like these kind of creative functions within maps, or is it too gimmicky and it doesn't make it fun? I mean, it feels like it's kind of gone in too far one direction, maybe of Clockwork, but like then you look at some of the other maps, they just have a little bit, like you get a little quick run around the arena in some of them, and then you have the bombs and the other ones. I mean, what's your preference? You want more mechanics in the maps or less?
So I think it's all about like what is SE's goal here. I think their goal is to just have as much people play as possible, even if it's at the casual level. And I think people, for the most part, enjoy the clownery maps.
The clownery,
yeah.
That's what I think, but I can't speak for everyone. What do you guys think?
I could go either way, but I do think it's fitting for Final Fantasy in the community. I do think it's a good thing. I think honestly having any more content, any love from the devs is going to be a bonus. Because as soon as people notice that the devs aren't giving it any love, they're not going to look over here anymore. So as long as they're doing something, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Make one person in the community happy. Anybody, just go make them happy.
Okay.
I think that Clockwork is okay. I think that that's about probably the limit that you can really kind of screw with the player base. I think that's about the. I think Clockwork's about the limit. I think if you get it any more crazier than that, it's gonna head south real fast. It'll get.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we're at the limit with the. I think we're at the limit with the timing of the mats. But I think so. Just kind of go off of what Masaru was saying. It's that showing love, and I think that honestly, the biggest thing that they could do right now to really show like the community that they mean business about this mode would be to assign a GM or two to PvP to supervise what's happening and to, even if they can't fix every problem, to be able to show, like, hey, this GM and this GM, they work on this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like, this is their job. They're trying, we're trying our best to take care of you guys and to fix these problems that people, have had with the PvP in this game. I think that kind of love is kind of what a lot of people are really wanting and hoping for.
Yeah, just a community manager, I think, that's dedicated to PvP would be great.
That really would.
I would be completely behind. I've been Brian has heard me say this like a billion. Yeah, we've all said this for like ever. We just need a community manager out there. We almost had one, but it was in the JP scene, right? I think we had someone that was kind of dedicated a lot to it. But it would be really nice to have someone like in just general, kind of overseeing just the state of the community, building and growing whatever we need to do, being the one person who's just building PvP for Square Enix and just taking the input from the community and transferring that knowledge over to SE. And, it just would help. Community managers right now are awesome and they do a lot, but they do a lot. They do a lot. Yeah. They have a lot of responsibilities to take care of. And I mean, I don't know the inner workings. None of us really know the inner workings of Square Enix and everything with it. But to have a public face for PvP, that would be scary. That would be scary for that person.
Would be scary.
That'd be scary. You'd have to be tough as nails for that job.
Yeah. But
I also wouldn't mind some form of like a roadmap too. Just something. Just something to say, hey, we're planning on this in the next couple years. Because I don't care how long it takes. Just let us know something is happening. Because I don't want to feel like nothing is being developed.
Yeah, because for PvE, we know like this ultimate is coming soon and this next raid's here and the next storyline. But for PvP, we never know until like last minute patch notes.
Like just tell me Astragalus is 1% done. Just tell me it's only 1%. You haven't done anything else. That's fine. Like,
you know what?
Just tell us someday it's coming back.
You guys are saying that, but I feel like there's been so much communication in comparison to what we've had before.
It's getting better.
I also wasn't there.
Definitely on the incline.
It's definitely getting better. Like, for example, when they do the job adjustments, now we have this entire like paragraphs of why these changes, which is really awesome. And I love that they did that now, doing that now. Yeah. But like the roadmap thing is still something that would be super helpful because that would give more motivation. Like if we know, hey, this new map is coming out soon, or this
because we got we got surprised by Clockwork. No one knew that was coming until they were like, oh, hey, new map, here you go.
If I was going to take a stab at this, it's because this mode and this PvP thing is still kind of in this flexible, still moldable situation, and they're trying to get it into where they want. And once they find something that works, they'll start repeating it, and it'll be a lot more expected. Like Savage, the only reason we kind of expect that and how the rating tiers roll out is because they developed a working system they're happy with. When they started back in a Realm Reborn, we didn't have Savage, we just had normal raids, and then we had the Brutal or whatever mode we had. I guess it was Savage back then, but it was like after the fact, it was like Super Savage. I don't know, like what to call it. Like what was they had like Second Coil? They had that extra mode for it. That was just an achievement to beat it. It was like how they meant the fights to come out, but then they toned them down or something like that.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of vaguely remember what you're talking about with that.
Oh, that feels so bad that you guys only vaguely remember that.
I wasn't a raider during ARR. Sorry.
They were just named normally the coils, and then I remember like
they added Savage to it.
Yeah,
but it's not the Savage we know now, right?
Right.
Savage we know now is more equatable to how normal coils were, and then this Savage was just like this whole extra hardcore version of the like those set of fights. But then they went in, they started with normal mode, they did Savage, they found it was a really good template, and they just kept going with it afterwards.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, when they did Ultimate, I don't know if we knew they were going to do more Ultimates or how they were going to do that or really had the full understanding. But then they're like, this is a success. This is our new schedule. And then they changed it up a little bit because of how many developers they had for it. But then they're still pushing out. But since Crystalline Conflict is still so fresh, even though it's been a year, I feel like they're molding it this expansion. And then if we have a successful setup, they'll try something else, add it on, see how it rolls out, and go forward with it.
Yeah, Brian, you said that before. Like we're expecting something kind of big, maybe 7.1.
Oh, yeah, because for in general, what they've done with PvP is like they always do like a big rework or a big change in the 0.1 patch, like 3.1, 4.1, 5.1, 6.1. It was like add a new mode or big changes to the system. So maybe I don't know if they'll do something 7.1.
Yeah. Man, they have changed PvP so much.
Every expansion is major.
Yeah,
I feel like there's things they could do to kind of speed up this process, though.
Oh, go ahead, John. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Masaru. Go ahead.
Masco. Yeah.
All I was gonna say is I think that there's things that they could do to speed up the process. Kind of like how there's still not really quite a meta for how to engage on an opener after this many seasons. I feel like things are going slower than they should. And I think if there was better ways to do light parties, maybe people would develop things a little quicker. And I think if maybe the data centers were one for PvP, there's more people in the player pool, things would speed up. Because right now it's 20 players per data center developing these things, and you want them together. You need more people to like let this speed up.
I am 100% in agreement with that, and I feel like almost they should have, when they do the traveling and everything else, they have likely some way to make that happen. Just they need to basically maybe make a dedicated spot where you say, hey, I want to do PvP, and then you go to a Wolf's Den that is on the same like queuing area as everyone
else. A new Wolf's Den that's not trash.
Oh my god, yes. New hub. That like is so
anything.
Old.
Like literally anything.
It would be nice.
Somebody hoist this man up on their shoulder.
Maybe they do the old Crystal Tower map and they kind of work that out, expand that a little bit, and everyone can just, because we love Crystal Tower in this game. Crystal Tower is an amazing thing that's like the core of the game, basically. It's so many different spots. Raids,
Guardian PvP hub.
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, I was looking for a way to shoehorn that in. Thanks, Masaru.
I'll force it.
Yeah, but a regional Wolves Den and a unified ladder. I mean, they could do so many different things with ranking. I know that they're kind of attached to the rank 1 type of deal, but you could still have your rank for your data center, but everybody's queuing together, or they could do it similar to World of Warcraft where it's a percentage of the top players.
I mean, if I'm being really nitpicky, I think it should be one data center for PvP, and then you should have individual rankings per job.
Ooh, there we
go.
Because
interesting.
Honestly, I'm not the same on one job as I am another. And I kind of can't play that other job in ranked now. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't know. I can, but I feel bad depending on who's in queue, if I'm being honest.
I know we've talked about that in the past, like having it by like role, maybe even.
Or role,
But the roles don't matter anymore, basically. It's more job-based, I think. Because the roles before were really important. And, ranking tanks differently than healers and range DPS and melee DPS made sense in some way to me. But now, I guess, like, with the new system, maybe jobs is the way to go. I mean, they do it for Palace of the Dead. They do it for Deep Dungeon, right? It wouldn't be a horrible way to do it, but how would that play out in the end? Do we see any negatives from doing that?
I think you could end up dividing, once again, everyone you brought together. That could be a problem, but it's kind of a bummer that I can't look at other samurais and be like, oh, where am I compared to them? All I can do is go off my own ego and my experience, and there's really not a whole lot else to it. So I kind of wish there was something, maybe not like your ranking, but some sort of leaderboard or something like that would be fun. Kind of like Frontlines, right?
Yeah, Frontlines has a leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Because that would give
absolutely
me
right.
more incentive, right? Like, oh, I didn't hit Crystal. Oh, well, I still did really well this week for Samurai, or I don't know. There could be more incentive to
I think
play.
that'd be good. I think you're onto something there, bud.
And then
Yeah.
if you combine everyone in the same region, you have
Yeah.
enough people where that would make sense.
Yeah, it's not just me going, Leon, I'm better than you at Sam, and then that's it. It's like there's two of us. Like,
Yeah.
Calling out Leon.
Hey, man, back in the
no, me and
day,
Leon have the best anime fights.
in Heaven's Ward, I was a really good paladin compared to other paladins. No one played paladin in raids. So that's how I got my claim there.
The old days, yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, dude. I've been here for too
I think,
long, dude. Yeah.
I
Go
think a regional grouping for PvP would be really good. I think that being able to queue from Aether to Crystal to Primal, and I don't know, they could figure out the ranks, how they want to do the ranks. It'd be nice to have more than the same 10, 20 people you're queuing up against every day.
For real though.
I like the idea.
It's almost. I do. I mean, it's kind of fun seeing the same people again because it reminds me of the old Looney Tunes cartoon where the wolf and the sheepdog are clocking in at the same time.
Oh yeah.
It's like, all right, morning. How's the family? Okay, let's go kill each other.
Yeah.
That makes it so much worse.
Let's go do it again.
I mean, it's okay. They clock it every day. They never kill each other. They're doing good.
I
ahead,
like
go
the
ahead.
idea. I just don't know, like, if they would ever do that type of development.
It doesn't feel like it's
I
far
also
off.
don't see anything like that happening because it seems so big, right?
It seems very big.
But if I was being really nitpicky, that's what I would like to see.
So tell me why you think it's such a big development. Are you talking about the regional part? Or are you talking about okay? So why do you think it's such a big development?
I just think it's just that's not how the servers are for this game. We're under
the
spaghetti
servers for
code.
one, and two. I've only been playing since CC for PvP, but from looking at everything that was implemented, it seems like a way bigger cost to do something like that than the amount of money they spent for CC. Like CC was a win.
Like
CC was a win, but who I mean. We don't know enough about the servers except for we know that every now and then there's they use it as an example of why they can't do something.
Yeah.
But you can currently travel to a different data center and queue ranked. But you don't get a ranked.
Oh, no, you can't queue ranked. You can only queue casual.
But you could queue casual. All right, so you could queue at all.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? The development for that, and I am literally napkinning this. I am not a freaking game developer or server administrator at all right? But I know there's a possibility of traveling to servers and queuing in on that data center's queue. And so all they would have to do is implement a fact of I am playing PvP, and then you do world travel all to the same data center. And the PvP information all lives on whatever, maybe it's Dynamis or is whatever, is a lower population server, but you basically are doing a world travel to, a certain data center, and then you just do all the ranked from that one data center, and that's considered a regional one. It's not like you're changing ways that the system already works. You're just managing it a different way.
I mean, if you go over and you get into an event where you're queuing, if you're queuing into casual queue syncs with PV Primal, another, PvP Discord group, it counts your wins. Even though you're just doing casuals, it still counts your wins.
Yeah.
So the system is still there to count your wins. So it could, in theory, just...
So maybe the system already is there, and it's just not enabled.
Tack a star on my ranked, man. Let me get out of platinum, please.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too terribly difficult to do it. I mean, and they're doing stuff. Are they doing stuff similar to that in Triple Triad, or am I imagining that? What's Triple Triad and Gold Saucer? Because I know you go into a.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sorry, this is completely out. All right. I know you go to a separate area and then you queue there, but I don't think it's between the data centers or anything.
I could probably make it like Island Sanctuary, right? You just go talk to an NPC and shipped off to a hub.
Your brand new hub. right? And then in that hub, you can battle everybody in that same region. And I feel like all they would have to do is send you to a single data center, and everyone that's doing ranked PvP is going to the same data center. And that's it.
I think that would actually help a lot. Honestly, just
think it
combining
would.
all those people would be major.
And again, I don't really know. I'm not an IT guy at all or a game dev, but I don't think that it would be too difficult to implement something that tracks your wins for ranked, regardless of what data center you're playing
You know
on.
what? They should give us a whole island for the new hub. Use an
There we
island
go.
sanctuary.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Give me
That would
another
actually be
island,
awesome.
Yoshi P. Give me another island.
Yeah.
And then give us a 1v1 in a volcano.
Oh, perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. there we
Maybe they can actually make a circle for you to duel on. And not just have the dueling, whatever they call it. Is it dueling circle on the square or whatever?
I'm not even sure.
It's a square, and they call it dueling circle.
Yeah.
go. Yeah, they call it dueling circle, but it's a
Wait,
square.
what?
Yeah, you never noticed?
You never
It's the
noticed
same
that?
thing as they call them they call them squares in
They call them or the game calls
The
it?
game,
game.
like
The
it says it
game.
in there.
but it's
Open
like
up the
in
map.
Golden Saucer where they call the sections
I'm looking right now, I don't
squares, even though
believe
they're
you.
round.
They mentioned it at a
This is the
fan
brown
fest,
square.
Yeah, they mentioned
Koji,
it before.
and he just went. I kind of basically. I mean, I don't. He's just like, okay, whatever. It's more of a meme than anything else, but, geez, guys. Like, I do think there is still there's a lot that they could do, and I do.
Sure.
I have to imagine. I'm constantly imagining their team is stretched and working their asses off and doing all kinds of things. And I know they use some people for certain things, but a lot of people are kind of spread over multiple different departments where they're making content for things and everything else. That's kind of my horror, I guess, assumption, because that's the
Same.
base I got, right? And so I do know it can be a difficult situation. And with Final Fantasy 16 coming out, I can only imagine, some of the development being moved around a little bit, even though, they will tell us for sure. They're still dedicated to the game, still the same thing, everything, not a big deal. But some people from the Final Fantasy 14 development team definitely are working on it. I don't know how all that works, and they don't need to go into the details with me, but I do have that thought process of, hey, some of the resources are being spent on this game. So after that comes out, unless if they continue that Final Fantasy 16 becomes the new GTA 6 or GTA 5 where it lives for like a decade or something, and you just have the development team constantly working and putting DLCs out for it, they might be able to come back to 14 and put a lot of resources into some of these other things as well. But that's just me guessing. I am not a representative for Square Enix, guys. I'm here just talking. I'm here just talking.
You're not?
No, at all.
But
That's
Yeah,
how
I mean-
I imagine as well, because they do, especially Yoshi P. He likes PvP.
He does.
I don't know if you know this, like he goes to like scrims that like JP players set up, and like when they do little tournaments, he shows up and plays sometimes. Like
Mhm.
they like PvP. It's like big in Japan, especially.
yeah, it's really big right now.
Yeah.
Like they even do like esports YouTube channels will like have Crystal
Mhm.
Conflict.
DreamHack, baby.
Yeah, DreamHack JP
DreamHack is a
like
big
has
one, yeah.
Crystal Conflict.
Mhm.
But
I
just, like-
will say, go ahead.
that's pretty much what I was gonna say.
No, I will say, like, there are a lot of people who are just kind of like getting into this funk, like, hey, we need more stuff. I think we're on the edge of like some really cool stuff happening with PvP. I've tried to do my own stuff, right? I've tried to get, bring in a tournament as well and see if we could do some growth
Yeah.
there and make it kind of a regular event, because I think that would be kind of fun too. And then that just builds upon more stuff, more community people are doing more community tournaments and events, and you can get your dedicated teams that you're always playing with and everything else. And you could just say, hey, these events are going on, we'll go play these events here, and we could just play together. And then you'll start having more structured teams that are kind of sticking together.
Yeah.
And so I think we are going about to hit the uphill here. I mean, maybe at FanFest they'll like actually announce some more PvP stuff, because they might be saving some of that stuff for like the news and everything. The really big
True.
hitting news could be coming from that event. Because they did they announce Crystalline Conflict there on the online one when they did it? I can't remember.
They announced it during the online fan fest.
Did they? Okay. Okay, so a lot of that could be waiting for that event too, because
Oh my
that's just
gosh.
literally around the corner.
I
So,
didn't think about that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
I'm
my
excited.
gosh. Like it is literally not that far away. Holy crap, dude. We were
I
like
know.
3 months
It's-
out.
It's right on us. It's right on
It's
us.
so close.
Oh my gosh.
But then, yeah, we also have a couple more patches coming up. We have like 6.4 coming up, which I don't know how much PvP is going to be involved with that because they are doing a lot of Savage stuff, right? And so that's coming
It'll be
out.
a new series.
No series,
The
new season.
battle pass where you work off your checklist and get your reward.
Yeah. But I am, like, some people were mentioning Capture the Flag. I think we've been asking for Capture the Flag some
that'd be
way
awesome.
in the game for a while. Capture the Chocobo, I don't know, whatever.
2v2 or 3v3 arena, please.
I would also
Blue
like to see a
Mage.
battle royale personally.
I'm about to say it.
Yeah,
Blue Mage
Blue
Battle
Mage
Royale.
I want them to take the old maps that no one uses from MSQ and stuff and just make it a battle royale and close in the
Oh my
circle.
god. Yeah.
Give me Bent Branch Meadows and let me slaughter people.
Yes, literally.
Could you do
Oh
that with
my
the
God.
current, like, PvP skill setups with the jobs and everything else? Can you do
I think
a
what you do
1v1?
is you put those health pots randomly and like the little power up candies everywhere. Maybe let people duo
Okay,
queue.
that's
And because people are third partying, there really doesn't have to be big balance. Because that's kind of how battle royales are, to be honest.
You know, I remember an interview back in the day, and I don't know exactly when it was, but they were talking about, okay, well, Yoshida, what games do you play on the side and everything else? He was like, well, besides, Final Fantasy 14 stuff, I try to get into PUBG every once in a while and do some games in there. So I'm like, it's not really that far off to think that there could be something like that in the game at some point, because
I would love to see
Yeah.
it.
Well, they talked about scrapping the idea for a Blue Mage battle royale. So maybe they started the work on it. Maybe they'll finish it.
Man, they have talked about so much stuff. So I remember having a question with them before. They're like, yeah, we've tried open world PvP on some test servers and stuff, and people liked it and stuff, but we didn't really go forward with it. So there are so many things out there.
When they were promising, what was it? Free companies could summon primals.
Oh, I remember the Grand Summonings or whatever they were called.
Was that 2013? Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
That was a long time
It's in
ago.
development.
yeah.
It's coming. It's coming.
But yeah, I feel like Crystalline Conflict's at least at a good base, because it has what it needs for the
really
start
does,
of it.
yeah.
It has interest from the overall community, and that's what Feast was lacking before. Crystalline Conflict right now has so many, because back it was horrible back in the days, Brian. Dude, we were always on the defense. Literally always on the defense. Resident Sleeper fighting, man. Like, it was just all the time.
PvP sucks.
Yeah.
Like, every time it was like a live letter, PvP sucks. Why is this coming out? Delete PvP.
Yeah.
it was
Sheesh.
for me. It was very discouraging because that even back then that was my main content, and like people made me feel like I shouldn't be streaming PvP, but
Yeah.
I still do.
It made me make this emote right here. Because that's
that's amazing.
Because I couldn't. It was so rough. Like every time, like the live letter, and like I'd go through and I'd be like, "Oh man, I'm ready for the news," and then they'd go to PvP, just Resident Sleeper all throughout the chat. But that stopped at some point. I mean, it maybe come back as a meme every once in a while and everything else. But yeah, like I want it 100% to have this kind of interest for the community. So since we're here, now let's just go ahead and make it a success, right? We have the entire Final Fantasy XIV community wanting Crystalline Conflict to succeed. So
you're absolutely right. And we've never been in a situation before, in this community where literally every night of the week you can go find something to do with Crystalline Conflict or PvP. There's an event somewhere almost every single night. There's Rival Wings Q syncs. There's Rival Q syncs, casual Q syncs. There are people organize ranked Q syncs when they're trying at the end of the season to push that forward. People are doing tournaments. So there's almost always something that somebody can get into, and not really have to go far to get to it. So I think that's really good.
So let's just say you're a new player coming into it and you want to get a little bit more serious than just queuing up for casual. What's their best path to take to either become a better player or get more involved in the community? Because there is a lot out there right now. But what should they do if they were like, hey, I want to get into a little bit more serious with Crystalline Conflict and the community?
I think Revival Discord is probably the best place still. Yeah, join the Discord, because that Discord will lead you to the other Discords generally, because they have like a communities tab there, and they try to like post all events there. So like,
yeah, they post everybody else's events in their events tab and in their general tab. So yeah, but Revival is a great place to start. Calm Lamity is there, always talking about getting people, education and training for newbies. They he handpicks the mentors over there. So there's always somebody to ask questions about how to play your job, how to play your role. And then, like Brian was saying, they cross promote. So you can learn, you can learn the ropes and splash around in the kiddie pool in Revival. And then you can go into like CC Madness or Argo and get into more serious, LP play. Or you can come to CC Roulette and just,
I was gonna say CC Roulette is actually like a really good way of getting into it, I think. Because you have a lot of people from both sides of like good and bad, or however you want to call it. And then you also have just like, I don't know, like a fun atmosphere. Like no one cares. And I think when you're doing a lot of other tournaments and things, if it's your first time, that could be nerve-wracking. So I think the CC Roulette is like kind of a really good intro.
And you get some level of communication with other people on a voice server, I assume.
And you don't have to. I've been in comms before, and I've also just not been in it because I wasn't feeling it. Like everyone's super accepting, and it's very relaxed.
Yeah, the matches are low stakes, and like I said before, like at the end of the night, we do goof off matches where we have weird comps and everything, but it gives people a chance to get into, testing the waters with light party, testing the waters with organized team play, trying to coordinate, and it's not a situation where there's no rankings or brackets or elimination or anything like that. You come out, you're going to get a chance to play, you're going to get put on a team, and if you want, you can coordinate with them, or you can kind of, you can be quiet and listen in and see how other people do it. And it's a mix of people that are experienced, high-ranking players and brand new players. So.
Yeah, I think it's also good just to take the edge off, because I feel like a lot of people think there's a lot more like, I don't know, like, oh crap moments, but it really doesn't have to be that way. So I think it's a good intro to do light parties. Because if you're going to casual and someone's spamming you, you're going to have a bad time. So I think doing some form of light party is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I think a lot of Final Fantasy XIV players can be very shy. That's the only part to it. And so, I mean, you have all the, even in like the rated community, right? You have like, I don't want to tank because it's so nerve-wracking to me. I don't want to heal because it's so nerve-wracking to me.
Even dungeons.
Yeah, even in dungeons, right?
even in dungeons. Posts about tankxiety all over the place.
Yeah. And so I guess there is a PvP anxiety, right? In some way or another.
Absolutely,
or you just don't want to be judged. Because, I mean, the thing is, though, like the Final Fantasy XIV community is, I guess they're coming from other MMOs or other places and everything else, but like Final Fantasy XIV, it wants its content to succeed and the thing that it loves to succeed, and everyone in the community is doing everything it can, and you'll have the outliers of people who are just toxic and shitty, but most people give them shit, right? Because they want people to come into the community and for it to grow overall. And so you being there, they're happy you're there, whether you're shit or not. So like even me, I could play in these games, and I will hopefully not get made fun of, right? Like,
see, I definitely need new. I mean, we all need more people to queue up to kind of dilute the water, so that when I'm really bad, it's not just me griefing. It's not just me,
Yeah.
But even like that, like I feel like a lot of people don't have that relationship with their teammates. Where like, I griefed you, fuck, I'm sorry, like I don't know, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just literally if you want to be a part of the community and get into it and you're like, I don't know anyone in there, if you go to events, everyone's going to appreciate that you're just there.
Yeah,
I think, right?
you can for almost every almost every single event that we've talked about, you can literally just walk in and be welcomed almost like you're a celebrity. Everyone seriously, I ain't joking around, dude. It's almost like you're a celebrity. If you come in and you're like, hey, I'm new, oh my god, people are gonna fawn all over you. They're gonna be trying to take care of you, welcome you to the community. For real.
You need a cup
For
of coffee,
real.
some tea. You know, I've got some crackers over there. I got like all kinds of things. I've got some cookies. You know, and so I think so at least. I mean, it used to be back in the day. It used to be pretty bad. I'll be honest. We did have some bad, and then we had to like the community had to like change, and different discords grew to try to make things more welcoming. But now it's evolved into the regular Final Fantasy community that you would kind of expect now. And so I think that's pretty good. Is there a lot of? I guess that's a good question to ask too. With the like higher level kind of play and everything. Do you have a lot of bad apples out there, or is it just literally just a couple of people every once in a while you have some?
It's definitely a small minority of like toxic or you know, we could I would also group up, you know, the cheaters with them too.
Sure, yeah,
Grouping up the cheaters, I would say
don't
there's
give
an
a fuck and they're
overwhelming
trying
amount.
to.
Yeah, the bad apples together.
Yeah.
It's just definitely a minority. I think like 90, like we've been saying, like 95% people just want to see PvP grow and have fun and play together.
Yeah. But I mean, there's going to be that percentage out there that are just like, who gives a shit? I don't want. I'm fuck everything. I want to cause chaos, right?
Right.
And those exist in every single community, everywhere, no matter what. Even if you're in a Teletubbies forum, I'm sure it's there, right? But like, if you're talking about like that percentage over there, most people are going to be against them, and most people will favor going, you know, hey, these guys are assholes. Don't worry about them, kind of situation, right? Do you feel like there's enough people out there that are actually causing a problem and disrupting the scene right now, or is it just a mild annoyance over everything else?
Realistically speaking, I think it's more of a mild annoyance. Unfortunately, in a lot of times it gets blown up to bigger than it is, which will dissuade people, you know. We've had YouTubers talk about it like it's rampant, or people on the forums. People in the forums saying that they're being hard stuck in bronze because of people running scripts and win trading, and
that's always been a thing.
you're gonna run into them. You know, they are out there. You're absolutely, you are absolutely gonna run into some someday. It's not nearly as bad as some people make it out to be, but you know. Like we were talking earlier about having a GM or somebody that is dedicated to PvP, they could come out and say like, you know, these
many
accounts
people were banned,
were removed for win trading. I saw them with my own eyes. I was in spectator mode and nobody saw me there, you know, floating around like a ghost and picking out the win traders and sending them to Mordian, you know. I think that would do a lot to ease people's kind of I guess tension or reluctance, because you hear a lot about it. You're like, well, why am I gonna go play if there's all this win trading that people say is going on? Which, don't get me wrong, there is going on, but the problem is that it's a small group of people that get away with it for a long period of time, to the point where we get YouTubers making anon accounts and making very meme-ish videos exposing them, and you know that they drop Brian's name, and Brian's like, oh my god, now I gotta deal with this. So it's if you go and you join an event, or if you go and you start queuing up, you're not gonna get hard stuck in bronze because of win trading or somebody running a script.
No, you know. You might be kept out of like top 30, but you won't be like locked out of even like Crystal or Diamond or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of
at least in my experience, I definitely feel like I get gated from games every day. Like randomly, there'll just be a game where it's like, nope, you're not winning this one, and I'll be staring at their character, not moving or something. It's like, okay, cool. Like this is how it's gonna go.
Like griefing?
Yeah, griefing.
Okay. Yeah, and I think a lot of
Hmm.
people do confuse some of the stuff because when you get into, especially as a new player, right? You get into a game and you're just like losing over and over and over again. You're like, why am I losing? I'm doing everything right, right? I'm hitting buttons. All my buttons are being hit. And then you start thinking, well, there's probably someone cheating. This guy has an advantage or something like that, and your mind can go to these places, and you have
Oh
to
yeah,
like
totally.
not do that. I mean, the stuff will go be out there, but it's not the reason you're not climbing because there's lots of people who are not right. They are climbing perfectly fine, and it's not they're not being kept back because of all this stuff that you think is
No,
keeping
no,
you
definitely
back,
not.
right?
Yeah.
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 So of course we would want like nothing, like no cheating, no griefing,
Mhm.
but it's
But
always
yeah,
gonna happen.
as you guys were talking about with the
Probably.
GMs coming out and being just like dedicated to some of this stuff, the thing is, if they do these reports every once in a while, it says, hey, this many were banned because of botting or gill selling, gill trading, things like that. If they add a line in there and just say PvP, right, manipulation, something like that, and they
Yeah.
just that would be just a sign that there is something that's going on that
Yeah.
is trying to control or temper the issue a little bit. Right now, people are just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it would counter some of that overwhelming message that it's full of cheaters and win traders and things like that.
For sure.
Because as I can't really stress it enough. There's very few people that just happen to be. It's known about. It's like what do you call it? Like an open secret for a long time before anything happens. It takes forever, and then when it finally does happen, there's a celebration, and then they make an alt, and we find out. We find them
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
we find them again.
there's definitely people who have cheated for years and years and years, and they just create a new account and it's like, what can we do?
And
And
they're
their
just
adventure plate will say, "I'm back."
Yeah, like
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
they
oh,
literally
cool. Like,
taunt.
I wish I
taunt-
could report this, but it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, they taunt
Right.
the community practically. It sucks real bad.
yeah. But I mean, with that being said, too, besides that, when you get into matches, there are going to be days where you just lose and lose and lose and lose, and you feel like there's something that can be done. And you do have sometimes where there's going to be good players on the other team and players that are not good on your team, and you just have a bad day of like it's just bad RNG in that situation, right? You as a single player, you cannot 100% win a match, but you can definitely increase the chance of winning that match, right? That's all you're doing is you're boosting the chance of winning it. You can't win the match by yourself. And that is, I think, what's happening more often than the other side of it, where you're thinking everybody's cheating against you. Because if people are cheating against you, sometimes they're going to be on your team too, right? And so, like,
Right.
it's not really the exact reason why.
Exactly.
I think that because we were kind of talking about that before, where you have to adapt to your team and you have to do what you can to change the win condition for your match. I think that like one thing that I try to do, because I am not a T100. I'm not even Crystal. I haven't been Crystal since like season 2. But one of the cool things about Crystalline Conflict or Frontlines and Rival Wings too is you get that scoreboard at the end. You can look at what you did. And so I'm a big advocate for, if you have a bad match, take a look at that thing and actually look at what you did, because you may have lost a streak, you may have just demoted, down a riser or whatever, but you can find something in that match that you did good, some play that you made, even if it was an accident, it still counts. You did it. And I've always kind of encouraged people to record their matches, because you can watch it and learn from it, but you'd be surprised at how many cool things you do throughout a match, even if you're tunnel visioning, like even if you're brand new, and you feel in the moment like you're running around with just aimless, just trying to react to the chaos unfolding around you. You'll rewatch it and you'll see like, oh my God, I did a great job picking that target, or I called that, they melted that person. That was amazing. There's things in even like shit show matches that you can derive a sense of accomplishment and joy from, and sometimes that's literally all you're going to get out of that match. You're not going to get a win.
I think the only thing that's missing from the scoreboard is like shields. So like if you're a scholar, there's no like damage block category.
There's no There's no ADPS on the parse.
Yeah, so you might look like low numbers if you're like on a shield job like Scholar. But
Yeah.
other than that, like the scoreboard is definitely a good thing to look at.
So
I wish you could look at it earlier. I would say that, like during the match.
Oh, like tab, like most
Just so I
people
could
That'd be
like
so
tab.
distracting,
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Well, just like a tab and see like, are they doing any damage?
I
Oh,
think
they're
it has
not.
it though.
I don't
Honestly.
know.
Like a shooter games, you just click tab and you see a little
Yeah,
real
you
quick.
do
Yeah.
have you can see it real quick.
Maybe even like a summary version, but like it would, or I don't know, see to
When you
see more
die?
information. I don't know.
Sure. I feel that would kind of throw some people off.
Maybe.
Because they're just like tabbing
It might.
constantly, like, oh,
Oh,
It
yeah.
might.
But the other part to that is that does bring up an interesting point about like, roles and uses and everything else. And they, again, the whole point was that roles don't matter, and you guys figure it out, and whatever the best setup, it will become the best setup, whatever, and people could kind of mix and match as much as they want. But healing overall, that was a big part about going into this mode too. And a lot of people going into it might be confused about, I'm playing a healer, I need to do a lot of healing. Do we feel like that is kind of the situation right now? Do healers have a role where healing matters a lot? Or is it more beneficial just to focus on damage and CC and things like that?
You have to do everything. You're
you
like
got to do
Okay.
everything.
you're
I kind of just
I like to define them as support.
Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I define them as support. That's what I do.
Yeah,
You gotta do
yeah,
it.
like a support.
So you would kind of classify jobs in two different roles, in like support and non-support, or how would you kind of classify them right now?
I didn't give it deep thought, but there's people who have got it given like deep thoughts, like this is an AoE DPS, this is a single target DPS, this is like a skirmisher, and this is a support. I haven't.
Okay.
I don't have defined words, but people do.
Okay.
I kind of look at them. I came from League of Legends. I look at them as champions. They're all separate.
Yeah.
They're just different characters in the game. It's not necessarily they're healers, but some of them have healing abilities. Some have more survival. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's closer to what it really is, because you'll have a job like Astrologian that will put out humongous healing numbers. And then you have Scholar, which is also a healer, and is like unless you're cheesing your numbers by popping elixirs at the beginning while you're waiting for the gate to open, you're gonna be at the bottom of the healing.
Well, because of the shields.
Yeah, because
it doesn't count your shields that you get from Galvanize, and it doesn't count your damage boost that you give everybody with Catalyze, and it doesn't count the damage mitigation from Biolysis and things like that. So.
Yes.
But you play very differently as a Scholar than you do as an Astrologian or a White Mage or a Sage. A Sage is like a melee support type healer. Like Sage is really fun. I wish I was better at it.
Well, and that gets me interested a little bit more, because I've been very invested in Sage recently, but in the PvE side of things. And I'm going to be doing a pretty deep PvP journey of, coming back and making sure I'm familiar with everything. Because while I have a very long history of PvP and being involved in different things with tournaments and commentary and playing and ranking and everything, I do go everywhere. I try to hit every single aspect of Final Fantasy. And so soon, I'm doing Deep Dungeon right now. Soon I'm going to be diving in really deep to PvP just to make sure that I treat that tournament seriously. That's coming up in just a few weeks. But that is, when you're talking about that whole point of it's more like heroes, I never really thought about it too much, but maybe, that's kind of what it is that
100%.
we're not looking at roles and jobs and everything else. You're going in as your favorite hero, which Sage is my favorite hero. Paladin is my favorite hero. And how's my hero fit into this match? What benefits can I provide to the party?
That's I think that's a more accurate way of looking at it. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I play a lot of Gunbreaker, and people would always say, "Oh, it's not as tanky." And I kind of sit there like, it is. It's just different. It's different tanky. It's not it's not like I'm a rock. You're not going to move me. It's you're trading off all your shields to your heals. Rough Divide into extra healing on the health pot. It's a lot different, but I don't know. So I never really saw them as tanks necessarily. They're just, I don't know, different champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they because a Gunbreaker plays way differently than a Paladin.
Yeah.
You're gonna have different strategies, like almost almost night and day. Whereas with a paladin, you're almost you're looking out for your team. You're trying to make sure that you're protecting them like a traditional tank. Whereas with a gunbreaker, you're mayhem on wheels, and you're trying to disrupt as much as you can and do as much damage as you can. Or it depends on what you draw in junction. You can customize gunbreaker to kind of how you want to play.
And so yeah, this is maybe it's closer character-wise to Dota or League of Legends in that way, because you're looking at the different what people have chosen. Well, you don't have that choice right now, but different heroes may work better with other heroes too, and something like that. Maybe in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and we see that in LP. We see that in tournaments and scrims. Not really so much in casuals or anything, because you can't. The only thing you can do is if you're queuing up against somebody or with somebody that is a certain job, then you can kind of force yourself off their team by queuing up as the same job. But that's about it.
There's definitely things that some jobs do similarly, like Ninja and Monk would harass the back line. Dancer Reaper can guard break. Like there's some things like that. But yeah, they play very all different.
Yeah. Which kind of fits what Square Enix was gunning for when they made this mode too, is that they wanted each job to be like, this feels like Dragoon, this feels like so-and-so, and they want it to feel like those jobs and not that role, I guess is kind of what they're looking for. So that is interesting. I never really thought about that, because I'm always in the golden triangle of MMO stuff, right? Healer, tank, DPS. But they are going out of that kind of realm here with PvP, and I was very much like, that's going to be stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Back in the day, but they did it. I feel like they absolutely did.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty balanced, and it just feels fun. Like every job has like a really good limit break, and they did a really good job with that, because like if you compare it to PvE, the jobs like play very similar. Like all the healers, they do the AoE heal, and you have the supportive stuff. But in here, like everything is so different and unique to itself, and it feels like how the jobs are meant to be.
I feel there's actually a reason to play multiple jobs for me. When I was in PvE, it was Dragoon, Samurai. I don't know, like some melee. Now I play like almost every job, so I think they did do something right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in casuals, I definitely go through every job for sure.
Like I love Scholar; it's so fun.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so fun right now.
So I do want to ask you guys. We've been here for it doesn't feel like it, but like an hour and a half already. We've talked about a lot of stuff right now. What are some other things that people are kind of discussing within the community? Things that you feel like we should probably hit on a little bit?
I think everybody wants rewards. And I think it's so overwhelming that so many people want rewards that they need to give us something. Like just something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there needs to be a middle ground. I don't really want to see exclusive rewards again, because people will cheat more.
You think so? Yeah.
What do you think about exclusive for a time? Like it's a rank 100 mount for a year, for 6 months, and then it goes to a battle pass.
It sounds better, definitely. There's a middle ground in any way. I've heard one of my ideas were like the battle pass, it has an armor, and the rank season will have that same armor, just like dyeable or a little bit more special to it. So it's exclusive, but it's not that exclusive where people were
I see. Bonkers. Give me a really cool glow on that armor. There we go.
Something.
So
actually,
I like that. That's a good idea.
I did hear one good idea from Census actually, which was, what if they were to give us alternative emotes for our limit breaks in PvP? Because then PvE wouldn't need it. They wouldn't be like, oh shoot, I don't get that. But for PvPers, it's super cool. Maybe you play that season, you get a different limit break.
Yeah, because it would be like other, kind of like battle pass games where you get different finishers, or stealth kills or whatever. Oh my god!
I wonder how much work that would take to do.
Yeah, I do think that's a cool reward though, that maybe the really PvEers wouldn't be so mad about.
Well,
yeah, because that's definitely part of it.
I've always been. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've always been on the bandwagon of, hey, I have this awesome amount that only 600 other people have. go ahead and re-release it, but just dumb it down a little bit, maybe change the color to it or something else.
Yeah,
I'm
give it a
okay with
badge.
it.
Something.
Yeah, I still have something unique, but someone could still get that mount and that model and everything. It just looks a little bit different, and they feel a little bit more like, oh well, this is okay because I still have my little special something, right? And everyone else can kind of get something that they were all excited to get, the big, I don't know, flying chair, the flying chair. That everyone was so upset about back in the day.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. But anyways, John, I interrupted you too. Did you have more?
No, I was.
Okay.
No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I think people would definitely be upset about like feast rewards being available.
Nah,
for Crystal
screw
Conflict.
it. Some of those people don't even play anymore, right? And so,
Kind of true.
you know, just
come
let
back
it.
from the dead to complain about it.
It's okay. You earn
I mean, if
the
they're coming back to
reward.
complain, they're coming back.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
come in the new one.
I'm
Go get
okay with it
something new.
personally
Yeah.
because I just want to see PvP thrive. So I'm okay with
Yeah.
losing that exclusiveness. I have every single feast reward, so
They could
And
even
I'm
do it
okay
with
with
some
it.
old raid gear too, like stuff you get from hunts. I don't know.
They are.
Like,
Yeah,
as a
I mean,
PvPer, I don't do hunts.
They've already been kind of slowly
What?
adding it as like trophy, crystal trophy gear.
They could do a lot more, a lot quicker. I think.
They could do a lot more, a lot quicker. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or maybe more
it's all
current raids.
it's
I
all
don't know.
reskins anyway. Like, just pump out the reskins a little bit faster for me.
Yeah. I think reskins are just such an easy solution. It's so easy.
Yeah, I think with some of the older feast armors and stuff like that, I think that would really jazz people because you know what? Every time I see somebody with, I think it was the season 18 gear or whatever it was, like I get jealous. I'm like, oh my god,
What
I want
if
that.
what if they did this? They added a dye option to the mounts. And so the feasters that have those exclusive mounts can now dye the mount, a certain main color of whatever they want.
Oh, that'd be kind of
And
cool.
the ones from the season or series, whatever, would just be the one color. Just kind of like armor,
Season,
right? Huh?
You want this on the season or series?
I don't give. I'm talking about the old rewards. I'm talking about the old feast rewards, right? Bringing some of those back, right?
Yeah.
Then making those like you can modify the color on those, but on like the new ones that they release, you can't modify the color or whatever. Just still have something special there, but if it's going to be
That's a
unique,
middle ground.
give it a unique aspect of it, like dyeing it, just like they do with some of the armor. When you get it upgraded to a certain point, you can start dyeing it and doing other things. People love that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah.
I'm for
Also,
it.
it's level
the
1
more-
stuff, right? So good for glamour.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, the more that they give customization wise to people to play in Final Fantasy, the better, because that's literally what everybody is addicted to in this game.
That's the end game.
Oh, okay. So the rewards, that's one thing. What's some other stuff we might have missed on the show today?
Anyone in
Sorry.
They're kind of just. I've been keeping it out on chat. They're just kind of riffing off what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so we did talk a little bit about how to get started in it and everything, and getting with the communities. We've talked about a good handful of things out there. Ways. A lot of people, again, we do believe, Chad's point, we do believe a lot of people are interested. We just getting people into that crossover to light party, and the rewards are one of the ways to do that too. Maybe that's it. Maybe the special rewards need to be behind light party, and then they start doing those time windows that we were talking about before, or improving that system to where people all play at the same time. Maybe all this stuff's happening in 7.0.
We can hope.
Maybe.
Blessed.
Yeah, they did change the NA servers recently. Maybe that's step one, right? They're doing something with the data centers, and they were messing with the hardware. Maybe they're making it to where PvP can play on the same region. I don't know. When we talk about other MMOs and how they kind of deal with that too, I don't have too much experience, but if you're queuing up for PvP in like Guild Wars or something like that, are they limited to their server, or is it really a whole selection of servers or a whole area? You guys know?
Like, for Guild Wars' sake, it's they do server versus server PvP.
Okay.
which is really interesting. But they also have open world PvP aspects similar to World of Warcraft, which doesn't really fit into our game.
Well,
I could.
you have to equate that to, you would have to equate CC to those arenas, so like WoW Arena, which is just like server only.
That's true.
Like
WoW's Arena is server only,
and Lost Ark as well.
Yeah,
Lost Ark is too.
Lost Ark has dead queues sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dropped off. A lot of a lot of other groups when they do or a lot of other games when they do the small team, it's basically your server.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those are also, I don't know. I feel like CC isn't necessarily the same thing as Arena. It's not 2v2, 3v3. Dedicated ranking. It's very much a solo experience, and you get put in with 5 other people to play a scuffed match of payload with strangers.
I think they could definitely make it more accessible than that.
Yeah. So I think that in our case in CC, I think it would work with cross server ranked play. I think it would. I don't think it would detract anything at all.
There's a player base difference, like in population, for like WoW PvP and Crystalline Conflict. So yeah.
I think another way to also get more people in, something I'm realizing is you can't play PvP on the free trial.
No.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know that until recently.
Yeah, that's
good.
Somewhat recent.
It's for another reason. I know that, but it does create kind of a weird space where you can't just go and try it. So maybe there needs to be a way you can try it. If that makes sense.
Okay. I believe they said it would come back at some
Did they?
point. I think so.
Okay.
Like it was like a temporary thing when they first announced it.
I think that it'd be
should be like a certain amount of minutes of PvP you can do on your trial. I don't know.
Front lines and casual, do it.
Yeah, that's true. As long as it's not ranked, right? Because ranked is where you probably want to
right.
Yeah, front lines and casual, I'd be okay with that. I mean, casual matches are already they're already chaos anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And we have talked a lot about Crystalline Conflict because I mean that is kind of the core of what we're thinking of with PvP because that's where the build up is. That's where people who get really dedicated to PvP usually end up. Some end up in frontline serious matches, crazy hardcore frontlines. We haven't really talked anything about Rival Wings as much.
I know.
Do you guys want to talk about a little bit with Rival Wings and your thoughts?
You mean the single greatest PvP mode in existence? Yes, I would love to.
So
you start.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So one of my favorite things about it is that it's literally one of those things that has an event or a QC going almost every night of the week. It has like seriously like great mounts. Like who doesn't love the Magitech Avengers? And then on top of that, even if you're bad, like it was one of the first modes that I tried because I knew that I was going to be bad trying it out. But there's so many different things that you can do. Like there's literally more content in a single match of Rival Wings than there is in like most actual straight up raids. Because you can spend an entire match just gathering like ceruleum and trying to help swing the tide on the mercenaries. Like it's a lot to take in. It's not very new person friendly, but it is so much fun.
I definitely have a different opinion. So I a little bit, because I do like Rival Wings. I think it's super fun right now. They actually balanced it way better than Frontlines is balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you build limit breaks fast, you can kill without limit breaks. It's just way more flowy than Frontlines, and it's less people, so it's less chaotic. But it's one map, and it's been there for 3-4 years. I don't even know.
Like 4 years now. Oh my God.
And there's only one reward, which is the amount you mentioned. So it's not rewarding enough, and it's only one map, and like Astragallos has been temporarily removed for so long.
For half a decade.
We haven't heard anything about that. So
yeah, I mean it was definitely one of the interesting, hey, let's try something new with PvP things that they did, right? And so but they didn't really keep going in that direction.
Right.
They were just like, all right, well, that's it. No more maps like this. We're done. And so I don't know if like maybe one day they want to do another map like that. Like it was just kind of a fun experiment or what it was. But it was interesting to see kind of how that response. I don't think Crystalline Conflict's going in that same direction, right? It's going in the upward direction. It's not going in the, hey, it's going to be sidelined as this content that just existed at one point in time and it's there.
And yeah,
But-
and there's another thing. So what John said about the syncing in the Discord's community,
Right.
it's like making it happen. That's actually like kind of a bad thing because like the average player can't doesn't even know about the mode. They never heard the mode. They can't queue in when they want to, and so
Yeah.
definitely needs work.
You're spread out between front lines, trying to do stuff with Rival Wings, Crystalline Conflict, and like. By the way, I love every time you guys say Crystal Conflict because I work so hard to say Crystalline Conflict every single time because I know it's the way it's supposed to be said. But at the same time, I will always say it's one of the worst naming decisions ever because it just doesn't feel right saying. Maybe that's the biggest patch change they can make. Just call it Crystal Conflict.
Crystal Conflict. Yeah.
What was it? What was the name that we were coming up with it at first? Like Crystal something.
Plus made a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was
someone in chat, remember?
Yeah, something different with it. Yeah, I don't remember, but it was much better. Gosh, I wish I could remember it at this point. But yeah, no, I think that Rival Wings, again, interesting experiment where you're like, I like robots, so that's gonna be my goal every single time I go in there. I want to be a robot. You know, I'm always gonna aim it. I'm gonna fight other people to be a robot because I want to be a robot. Or I don't know what I'm doing, but collecting these things seemed like a good idea. Let me just run around the map and collect stuff. Or I want to go kill this boss or whatever. Or I want to sit on the train tracks for fun. I don't know. You know, there's all kinds of things that you could really do within that. And they haven't really talked about making a new Frontlines map or a new like large scale map at all, right?
I don't think so.
No, not at all. The only news that we've had for Frontlines is that we're losing Borderland Ruins temporarily.
And then we're gonna lose Shatter after.
I'm gonna be honest,
right?
just kill all of them, dude. Just be done with all of them. Just get rid of them. You know, put in one big map.
Pop in 4 new ones.
Yeah, just pop in a new one that fits the new mode, and we're okay. Let them go back in history with Like and Weed and Feasting Grounds, the Trading Grounds, whatever.
Oh wow, yeah. There we go.
Bad.
Yeah.
I am actually. I am looking forward to this tournament, and I feel like it's going to be a requirement that everyone has to play Cloud9. Cloud9 and Clockwork Tower. I think those are 2 maps you have to fight on. The other one.
That's.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see for sure. When making events and everything, I guess that's something I would like to ask you guys. What have you found to be like required, like rule sets or things you have to do to make the players happy? Maybe if it's map wise or if it's job selection or whatever it could be. What are some very common rule sets that you have making tournaments, I guess, or events for people in the community?
Don?
Yeah. So I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've learned a lot. But you know, so I've done Frontlines contests, you know, for high demons and high knockouts. CC roulette.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think honestly, like people will come and sign up and join in if they're you know, if they're off work, they got the time. They're going to come do it just for fun. I think that what they appreciate most out of it, though, is like really good communication from the organizers so that they know exactly what to expect coming into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really the biggest one. Most people that come out for these rewards, I think one of the big draws for CC Roulette is that we give away Mog Station prizes. And I'm waiting.
At this point, they destroyed like half of the way to give away Mog Station items.
They have made it difficult. They've made it difficult, but I work around it.
Okay.
You know, I have people hop on my friends list right away, basically, right there when we draw their name. Like, all right, get on my friends list because we got to wait 72 hours. You know, there's certain items that you can't get, so I'm, you know, cash app you the amount for it. You can buy it for your character yourself. We find a way around it. Your tournament is giving away a bunch of Corsair gear. Paws and Claws, their last event gave away a gamer fridge. I think that those things draw people in, but everyone goes into, there's a chance I'm probably not going to get that gamer fridge, but I'm going to go out for the fun of it. Really, that's what people do. And so I think that the biggest thing that they want is, just clear communication. What time do I be there? What are my rules? What am I doing? You could, even like my most scuffed event was my Frontlines event, and people still had fun with it. I got a lot of good feedback. So I think that that's really important, is just be willing to accept that feedback and listen to people and not take it personally, and just do, your best to make the next event good.
Yeah. Speaking on that, I'm going to promote it again. We have a PvP tournament called the MogTalk C3. By the way, people were like, what's C3? I don't understand.
Yeah, I was going to ask
It's very
you that.
easy. Crystalline Conflict Championship. C3. Done. MogTalk C3. So, for you, if you want to spread that information, people ask you, now you know for sure. That's coming up. And again, I was able to get Corsair to jump in with it as well. And so they are going to be providing prizes. If you want to sign up, again, I put it in chat here. You can click on that, just sign your team up. There is actually the art reward that I haven't put on there, but let me just show you some images on the screen. The first place, by the way, we're doing a giveaway. So if you're just there being a part of the event at all, you have a chance of getting a mouse, keyboard, and headset. And if you're first place, you get it. Six members of that team will get it. So let me show you on screen. Right above, you get this scimitar, this awesome Corsair scimitar mouse. You'll get that. Then past that, you'll get this awesome H65 Corsair headset, which is actually really cool because it comes with this IQ software you put on your computer, and you could do a little hearing test on it, and it will customize that headset to how you hear. It does it's really simple hearing test, but then it completely changes how you hear and everything. There you go. Corsair sponsored, by the way. So, and then keyboard. You get this amazing wireless keyboard here that will all be given away again to the first place team, plus given away as giveaway items during the event. So sign up for that if you guys want to do that. We also have 3 million gil that has been donated to the event to give out to the first, second, and third place, as well as I'm thinking about anyone who's in the tournament in the top 8 and is eligible for it will get 1 million gil as well. So it's a pretty big deal for me, guys.
It's a pretty big deal for everybody.
Yeah, that's big rewards.
Yeah.
That's big, yeah.
And as long as, if this goes well, this will be something that continues on, and the plan is to get more sponsorship, more everything, and just growing this overall light party scene in some way. So please sign up if you haven't already, just to try it out and be a part of the event. Just signing up is a great way to support it, and then we can make more with the PvP stuff. Of course, there are other awesome events going on right now.
Yep.
You guys know of some. Do you want to go ahead and shout them out? Whoever.
I don't know dates for certain things right now, but the Paws and Claws tournament is also upcoming. But do you know the date, John, by chance?
No, not off the top of my head, but I can get it real quick.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
Yeah, pull that real quick. Is this the one with the gamer fridge, right?
Yeah, they've done that.
28th, 29th. Oh, it's a different one? Okay.
Yeah, this is a different one. Yeah, 28th, 29th.
There you go. So you can
Claws.
look into that. And there's some other community, and again, weekly scrims, things like that you guys could join into, but there's a lot of activity out there if you guys want to be, even just from a casual standpoint. I mean, don't be afraid that you're not going to make first place. Just be a part of it and just get in there and have fun with your friends, and then you might win something just literally by being a part of it. So
it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah,
it is so fun.
I think something that doesn't get talked about is how good spectating a tournament is. It's super high. People like it for the most part.
Yeah, it really is.
You get some really hardcore crazy moments, and I remember again doing a commentary with you recently, Brian, when we were doing it for the SE event. That was a ton of fun, man. Just watching those moments and call it about just being baffled. And again, I may not be an expert at PvP, but I think that there needs to be that, right? Brian is the expert. I am the person who's coming in, who is the casual player trying to translate and make things make sense to people who aren't experts in the game. Right? I feel like that makes a good side. I was really happy casting with you, Brian. I thought it was really cool.
It was just super fun. I think you did a really good like hosting job too. You was like mixing SC and me together very well as well.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to like this next event. You'll be commentating with me at the Corsair event.
Yeah.
And that is actually really cool too. It's only going to be like a 4 to 6 hour event, so we don't have a lot of room, but we might maybe have some more commentators come in as well.
Got it.
But we'll see how all that plays out. But yeah, look forward to all that stuff. But I guess, we're almost here for 2 hours. It's been a while now. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I think this has been a good show to do. I'm glad that we, finally got it together and everything. And I hope everybody's excited because I do think, I know some people think maybe I'm just huffing some hopium or whatever it may be, but I think Crystalline Conflict is going in a really good direction, especially with the lull coming up with the content overall. The repeatable content equals PvP. PvP is easy, repeatable content. So we should see a lot of growth coming in the next 6 months to the year, I would think. But that being said, is there anything else you guys want to go over before we wrap up the show?
Look at chat. I think I covered most of the things I want to say. I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I feel like I had more to say, but I just I don't remember it right now. I feel like I had so much to say though.
Yeah, we said a lot. We went over a lot.
We did.
Really did.
We talked about like the mode, what we would want like to improve upon it, why it's so successful, comparing to Feast. We went over a ton of topics, guys. This is it felt natural talking about all of it, so we did a lot. But you never know. We even talked about how you guys all fucking showed me up with suits and everything else for some dumb reason.
Blame John. Blame John.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, jeez, man. But all right, well, if we feel pretty confident about it, then we can go ahead and wrap up. I want to make sure everybody knows where they could find each of you individually, and your content and everything else that you're doing. And we'll just go again clockwise here. Brian, you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. I stream every week on my channel. The link is right there, twitch.tv/Brian Ricardo. I'm super active on Twitter too. I talk about 14 mostly and streaming stuff in general. And what else can I talk about? I don't really have super much upcoming other than like supporting events personally. Like I'm gonna be doing commentary for your tournament, and I'm doing commentary for John's thing coming up soon too.
Oh yeah,
that's
got
awesome.
a big one coming up on the 4th.
That's pretty much it.
Like back to back, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I also saw there was like some dueling tournaments that are happening out there too, right? They aren't like the Crystalline Conflict, but the dueling ones. Is that one of the ones?
Dueling tournaments are still a thing. I'm not part of that as much anymore. I used to be like in previous expansions, but I don't really understand the meta right now with all the potions and stuff.
Do any of you guys understand the meta with how the dueling tournaments work? Because
dueling tournaments have a lot of rules to them because the players have to balance it, since the jobs are all balanced around CC and to a lesser extent a little bit front lines, with their own special tweaks. The players have to come up with different rules to balance out their duels. And I have no idea where to find a comprehensive list. Each tournament comes up with their own rules, and it's really thick. But people come out and they do it.
Yeah.
I think one of the main rules is monks can only LB each other, and same with red mages. There might be a third one. But that's something I've seen at like all the ones I've been to.
Okay. Well, that being said, Mas, do you want to go? Do you want to tell everybody where they could find you?
Oh yeah, I stream Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock to about 7. I am late every day, but it's PvP, CC every day. Fridays, I like to do Lose I Drink. So we do customs, and you can make me drink.
Well, be careful of that on Twitch.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I did it last night. It definitely was a rough morning, but I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I appreciate you coming even after that.
I appreciate you having me here.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, dude. And I'm doing my timing with the shoutouts. There's a timer with it. I got you now. Now I gotta wait a little bit longer to get John too after this. Just like a time limit with Twitch or something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, John, go ahead. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, so I stream the CC Roulette event every Thursday night. That's on Revival's channel. And then I stream on my channel. I'm sorry, that's Thursday nights. And then every Friday night I stream on my channel, which is going to be up there in the shout out, and it's on screen right now. I'm really active on Twitch, I'm really active on Twitter. Yeah, I'm almost always logged in too. So Free Company, House of Wolves, Diabolos, you can find me there. I'm usually at the Wolves Den trying to rank up. That's been my content lately. Is just tooth and nail trying to climb.
Gotcha, dude. Oh well, I didn't ask this. We have literally made zero comment on it, but I'm sure a couple people have wondered about the helmet and the mask and everything. Like we've just literally just naturally let it roll. But it's, could you tell everybody a little bit about that?
This is, it's just how I look, man.
Oh, okay. Okay, just part of how you are.
It's just me.
Style.
It's just me.
Okay. All right. You're not like about to go ride a motorcycle or anything like that?
No. Oh my God, my motorcycle. So I do actually have a motorcycle. I have a Harley. It was stolen 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Trying to get that back. Yeah.
Did they just like picked it up outside your house or something?
Well, so I live in an apartment building, so it was I was parking it at a friend's house, so it wouldn't be in a parking lot, and they somehow jacked it out of his yard.
Yeah, holy crud, dude, that's horrible.
Terrible.
I'm sorry.
Terrible. Yeah. So yeah, I do have a motorcycle, but I'm not going to go ride one.
No, you're not now. No, obviously. So sorry about that, but yeah, no, I mean, I did look at some of your old streams. I think you didn't have a helmet on some of those. So it started at some point.
Yeah, I used to show my face on stream.
No, you're smart. You're smart.
Waiting for them all to. Yeah, it's just
kill all the VODs. Staying on, dude. Just staying on. Yeah.
It's not an anon thing. It's not an anon thing. It's just a style.
That's who you are.
Thing, I guess you could say.
Like me wearing a Moogle head in the game. Yeah.
It's a brand. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, again, all of you, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a great show. I love talking about PvP. Getting on and talking about Crystalline Conflict has been great. And I'm looking forward again to the future. And you guys just stay hyped for it. Don't worry. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I can to build up what we can to build up, and the community's doing a good amount as well. And I feel like we should see some really big growth moving forward in the community.
I have good hopes.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that all being said, thank you, Chad, as well. We'll be back hopefully next week. I do plan to have a discussion on full-time streaming, and I'm bringing on a few members of the Final Fantasy XIV community who do full-time streaming in Final Fantasy XIV for MogTalk next week, just to discuss that as a topic overall and just what that looks like. So expect that next week. Expect a lot of really cool things going on. Personally, for my own stream stuff, I'm going to be raiding top tomorrow night. I'll be doing more deep dungeon throughout the week, all next week as well as some more top. And then we have all those wonderful events coming up next month as well. So, outside of that, I don't think I have anything else. We're all going to wave here since we're all on camera. First PvP show in a long time where we're all on camera. And then we'll raid somebody here in a second. But guys, remember to be good, keep cool, stay frosty. Haha. All right, bye guys. Bye.
Peace out.